Hello there, YouTube. It's been a hot minute since I've made a video. So, where the hell have I been? It's been a little over a week since I made my last video. Honestly, I'm still struggling with fatigue. I'm not going to make any promises that I'm going to get back into regular video making. I'd like to, but I keep making these videos. It's like, oh yeah, it's been a week since I put up a video. I'd like to get back into it, and then I post 2 videos, and suddenly it's another week before I post anything. I can't guarantee that I'm not going to have the same thing happen. My fatigue levels have just been so far through the roof. My medication's been a little bit erratic the last couple of weeks, and it's made things difficult. But that doesn't mean I haven't been doing stuff. I've struggled to get any time in reading or playing any video games, so I don't have much to talk about. But I have been following the community. I have been watching YouTube videos. I've been watching BookTube. Well, a few things I can actually do, even with the fatigue high, is continue watching YouTube, because it's the kind of thing you can just stick on in the background and just keep going, even when you don't feel up to really concentrating on something. And some days I pick up a book and I can physically read, but I don't have the mental energy to process words on a page, and it's quite distracting. I saw a video actually, which I'll link below, assuming I can find it again in my previous viewed videos, on long COVID. A woman who has been reading voraciously for years, got COVID and has not been able to read since. Not because she can't read, her eyesight is fine, but because she just lacks the energy. And I felt very, very much like that. My energy levels are so low sometimes. Everything she said in that video, I felt the same way. Like, sometimes it feels like it takes all the energy you have just to lift your arm up. I find myself lying on the sofa. I'll fall asleep in the middle of a film or a TV show. I'm not really tracking my time properly. My diary is falling behind, as it were. Where I've got days where there's just no real entry. There's just the day and then an almost completely blank page. And it's not because I didn't have anything to write. It's just that I didn't find the time to even write in the diary, which is something that I put aside half an hour every day to do naturally. So that's how my life's been anyway. Now, I have been doing a few things. I've been running GURPS on Mondays, which has been fun. This is the GURPS character sheet. It's a blank one, but I've been running GURPS, and I've been really enjoying that. I'm getting back into systems other than D&D. And GURPS is fantastic. What I've actually been doing is I'm running GURPS, but I'm actually running a Shadowrun campaign through GURPS, because the Shadowrun system is not as good as the GURPS system, but the Shadowrun setting is really, really good. So we've been running the Shadowrun setting, but we've been playing it in GURPS, which is always fun to do. So you can do anything in GURPS. It's the generic universal role-playing system. So you can do everything in this. You could run a D&D campaign using GURPS. It's very, very doable. And I recommend people try it if they want something new. Like, you'll be surprised what you can pull off. I apologise if you can hear the cats mewing to themselves. It is 6:30 in the morning, and they are stuck upstairs because they're currently on heat, and they smell like bad fish. Like, they smell disgusting. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if you're not familiar with cats, the tangent I know, if you're not familiar with cats, if they haven't been neutered, they have a little scent gland in their bum. And they use this to mark their territory and to signal to mates. They are currently on heat, and they seem to just exude this smell. It just permeates everything. I walk up into their room, I open the door, and it hits like a wall of smell. I'm having to wash all of their bedding just to try and get the smell out of the bedding, because it's making the whole house stink like fish, like off fish. I can't have them in the living room. They jump around on the furniture. They make the entire room stink. I can't have people in. I can't eat a meal because it knocks me sick. They have their own room in the house. Like they are not exactly hard done by. They have their meals. I go up and spend time with them when I can. I can't spend too much time with them, which I feel terrible about because the smell is just so extreme. And they're not alone. They've got each other, because I've got the two of them. They've got nice warm beds. They've got a cat tree. They've got scratching posts. They've got toys up there. They have a whole room to themselves that's just got their beds and their toys and their little cat trees in. So they've got plenty of space up there. And they've also got the use of the hallway as well, so they can run there, they can sit up on the windowsill and look out the window, they can bask in the sun. They've got plenty of space to themselves up there. But they want to be down here. They want to be downstairs, because downstairs is the more socially significant part of the house. It's where I am, it's where other people come into the house. So they don't like being upstairs, because if they're upstairs, they're not in the more socially significant part of the house. And cats like to feel socially significant. So they feel like they're being punished. They're not being punished. I can't afford to be cleaning my entire house just to get rid of this putrid smell. And I would love to get them get them neutered, but try getting a vet appointment around Christmas. It's damn near impossible. The earliest I can get them seen is January, unless I want to go to a private vet that will charge in excess of £500 per cat. I do not have £1,000 to drop on this. There's a reason we have universal healthcare in the UK. It's because paying ridiculous over-the-top prices for healthcare is stupid. And just because it's a different species, that principle is not no different. But anyway, I'm still running my D&D game. That's been a lot of fun. So the D&D game has been running like every 2 weeks. It's now going to be on hiatus until like the second week of January, because I alternate with another person on the server who runs his game. So I have my game. He'll have his game tomorrow, actually. So by the time you see it, it'll be the same day. He'll have his game. Then we'll have the week where it'll fall on Christmas. Like, it'll be Christmas Eve. Then it'll be New Year's Eve, I think, on the Saturday. So by the time we get to a point where it'll be my turn to run a game again, it's going to be the middle of January. But that's okay. We're expecting a big gap. The campaign's very close to an end now. They have recently entered Dark Sun, which I've made very oppressive and difficult. There's no real rules for Dark Sun in 5th edition D&D, so I've taken aspects of Dark Sun from various different AD&D and third-party 3rd edition sources, and tried to finagle something together that makes it feel very oppressive and difficult. Like, spending time just walking around the open world in a Dark Sun campaign gives you levels of exhaustion, and the overworld gives you constant heat damage. Like, just because you're in a desert with the constant sun beating down on you, the monsters are so desperate. Magic is so rare in Dark Sun that I have arcane magic fails 50% of the time, unless they have a magic item that is basically an arcane amplifier with them at all time. They have to be within 60 foot of it. And divine magic simply doesn't work. That fits the tone of Dark Sun, because Dark Sun is supposedly very distant from the other realms and cut off from the gods. I would not have done that if there was a cleric or a paladin in the group, because that would have been mean as all hell. They have a mixture of arcane magic amongst the group. There's a bard, there's a warlock, we've got a monk, we've got a rogue, we've got a fighter, and we've got an artificer. So we've got the fighter and warlock are the same character, but we've got a mix of characters there. But arcane magic is where all the magic is coming from, and they've got magic items as well, which I'm treating as arcane magic for those purposes. Now, If they had like a druid in the party, that would have been a bit different, because druids are played off a little different in Dark Sun. But I would not have crippled divine magic so badly if I had a party with divine casters, because then they would have been useless. I'd have come up with something else. But I like the way that works. It feels extremely oppressive, and it makes healing magic very, very rare. So, very fun campaign. Looking forward to finishing that campaign off. They're going to do the storyline in Dark Sun. Then, presumably, they will head back to the Forgotten Realms and engage in what I have as the end game plot for the game, assuming they go for that. They could decide not to follow that, and if they don't, then the big bad will succeed in his mission and basically destroy all of the Sword's Coast. So they're going to want to go back, I imagine. It was supposed to be a Planescape game, but they've actually done shockingly little plane jumping. They had options, but they've not really done much. So this is the first time they've really been off plane. Like, they've interacted with other planes. They've interacted with Eberron, Innistrad, and a couple of others. But they've not really jumped from plane to plane, despite it being a Planescape game. Which was interesting. I thought they would do a little bit more plane hopping, but they've not gone for that. Instead, they focused very much on being a controlling force in the Forgotten Realms, which is fun. I enjoyed running that. So that's what I've been up to anyway. I thought I'd make an update just so you've got an idea as to what's happening for me in my life, just to have a little bit of a chat, as Steve Donahue likes to say, have a chat with my imaginary internet friends. Well, he says imaginary booktube friends, but you're not all booktubers. So I thought I'd start a little bit of a chat. I do have other things I want to talk about. I've got a bookish video I'm going to record straight after this one. I'm not going to put it up as the same video, because people who are going to be listening to a rambly little life update like this are probably not. They're probably going to be just watching this casually, whereas people who want to watch a bookish video, they don't want to listen to this kind of a ramble. They're just going to want to skip forward. So if I stuck this at the beginning, it's going to make the other video less appealing. So that's how I'm thinking. I've got a couple of things I want to talk about bookish related. I want to get back into making those D&D videos, which confused the hell out of me. I made two modifying D&D videos. The first one, best D&D video I've had performance-wise. It was creeping along, getting middling views. Then suddenly shot up and got over 100 views in one day, which is good for me. And then I posted the second video, part 2. A very similar thumbnail, same basic concept, same idea, and no one watched it. It got less than 30 views. I do not understand how part 1 can get hundreds of views and part 2 can't get any. Even if you were unsure as to whether or not you wanted to watch it, if you were watching these videos randomly, these are new people to the channel, if these are being suggested, they're going to be suggested around the same amount of times, but they're not even getting the same impressions. So I have no idea what the YouTube algorithm has going for it at this point. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I will see you in the next video, where I discuss books. I've got a pile of books here I want to talk about, and we'll talk a little bit more about bookish topics in general. And until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.